Just days after signing an executive order that supposedly ended the family separation, Trump now says we should deport all illegal immigrants immediately without due process. But hey, Trump says it isn't even his idea.
The president reminding people in a tweet this morning that this was a problem during the Obama administration. The president writing, quote, such a difference in the media coverage of the same immigration policies between the Obama administration and ours.
Sure, yes, it's true that Barack Obama deported almost 3 million immigrants and he oversaw the widespread detention of immigrant families. What he didn't do was take away kids and put them in cages. And anyway, aren't you Republicans against everything Obama did? If you really think it was his policy, why wouldn't you stop it? I bet you'd repeal it if they were called Obama camps. Trump is the one who made family separation standard practice. I know it's hyperbolic to compare Trump administration to the Nazis, but for f***'s sake.
Their children were taken away from them through deception. So in other words, they were sitting together with their children when they turned themselves into Border Patrol, and then they were told, oh, we're just taking the children for a bath. When they came back, the children were not there.
You're actually saying you're taking them to bathe, like to the showers. You really don't see the parallels. Okay, not the showers. I mean, I'm taking your kids on a choo-choo train. No, I'm taking your kids to the eugenics lab. I'm really bad at not being a Nazi. Worst of all, there's simply no plan to reunite these kids with their families.
Some of those children will never be reunited with their families, and that's because there's no one agency that knows where all of those parents and children are right now.
I take it back. I was wrong to compare the Trump administration to Nazis. The Nazis were organized. At least they gave you numbers. So what are these children supposed to do? When kids are 2, they don't even know their parents' names. They know mum and dad. And when they're saying dad, there's a 50-50 chance they're pointing at a fucking toaster. I feel like we're about to see a lot of 2-year-olds being reunited with cats and household appliances. According to Trump, these families are criminals swarming our borders. And to make his point, he held an event with parents of people whose kids were killed by undocumented immigrants, which is an awful thing. It's a tragedy for those families, but that doesn't mean that every single illegal immigrant is a violent murderer. You can have an event like this with any group of people. Look, here's a press conference with people whose loved ones were killed by redheads. Here's one for people whose kids were killed by bears, who, incidentally, are also undocumented. Here's one for parents of teenagers killed trying to have sex with a vacuum. We've got to get rid of these Hoovers out of the country. The Democrats are soft on suction. Immigrants seeking asylum aren't violent gang members. Gang violence is what they're seeking asylum from.
So much of the exodus across the U.S. border has to do with violence. 60,000 Salvadorans, double the police force, are gang members in a country with the highest murder rate in the world for young people under the age of 19.
That's why separating families is not going to stop immigrants from coming here. Their choices are possible family separation or death. Both terrible options. But personally, I'd always go for the one without the death. You're that worried about gang members being here in the United States? Then by all means, detain children. I'm sure those orphan kids will grow up to love the country that ripped them away from their parents. Kids join gangs because they don't have a strong family connection. If you want to take away those emotional bonds, then you put them at risk. That's why Tiffany Trump is a Crip now.